Welcome back in the huddle to head coach Stacy Carter. I'm your host, Tom Taylor. You're watching Science Hill football. Coach, very excited. First two games on the road, you go to Elizabeth and beat them 56-34. You go to Crockett, beat the Pioneers Conference opener 63-27. Came back home Friday night. Like Dorothy said on Wizard of Oz, there's no place like home. It's good to be back home, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was great to be back home. I mean, getting in on our turf in that stadium is nothing like that feel in a home fans. I mean, there's definitely a home field advantage, and we were just glad to get back out there and get this thing started.
Since you've taken over as head coach at Science Hill each year, you and I have talked about this during the summer, ran into each other, how kids are buying into this, student body's getting into this, the band's getting into it, the crowds are getting bigger each week. Folks are beginning to get behind Science Hill football like they used to in the old days.
Well, I think you have to win consistently to have people get to the games, and now it's happening. I mean, there's people coming to the games. I mean, I think there's a lot of buzz going around about these guys right now because they're getting it done on the field. They're playing very well. They work very hard, and we got a lot of talent right now. So hopefully this will pick up, and it can continue just have some great things go on with us.
That's the name of the game, is to continue consistency. Let's start with this ball game. Man, oh man, it starts with that quarterback, and you have showered him with adjectives since he came on the scene at Science Hill, and he just continues to impress folks. Malik Magoo, he's the real deal.
He's the real deal, and he's just a great football player. You know, probably the highest one of the highest football IQs I've ever had for a football player. He really knows the game, and he has all that athletic ability, but he's very, very smart. He can, check runs. He can check the passes, knows the game, studies the game. So, you put that both together, and what he can do with his feet and his arm. I mean, it's just amazing what he's been able to do in the last 3 or 4 years.
Plus, as you've told me many times, he's a great kid, first and foremost, right?
He's a great kid, and he's a confident player. I mean, he has had a lot of time playing football here at Science Hill. We actually started him playing when he was in the 8th grade. When he was in the 8th grade, before he actually got into the 9th grade, he went to Cherokee in a scrimmage and actually played that varsity game as quarterback, so as their starting quarterback. So he has had a lot of experience, and I think it's showing.
You're watching In the Huddle with head coach Stacy Carter. You're watching Science Hill football. Coach, let's get it started. Let's talk about Magoo. 13 out of 15, 315 yards, 3 touchdowns in the first half. Heck of a start against a pretty good football team.
A great start, and I think our offensive line played very well also, and there's a lot of kids making plays. I mean, we had kids. It's not like that every night, but we had a lot of kids making plays Friday night, and exciting to watch. And Marcus Patton made some great plays. Jordan Holly made some great plays. Elijah Mathis made some great plays. Just a whole lot of people contributing, and Mikey White making the runs, and Justin making some great runs also.
So if you're an opposing coach, then obviously that presents a lot of problems because Science Hill brings a lot of weapons every Friday night. You can't just key on one kid. Obviously, Magoo makes it go, but as you said, you have a cast of outstanding football players. I would think it'd be difficult to scout Science Hill because of that.
Well, I think we spread the ball around well, and I think our quarterback spread the ball around well. I mean, both of them do. And we had guys have really stepped up to running back position, something we were really concerned with before the season. And Mikey stepping up playing that, and then Justin coming in from quarterback and playing running back has really made our offense really, really a whole lot better. And the guys continue to do a good job and continue to buy into the role. And I think that's a big thing you have to do, especially when you have so many weapons, and the guys have been able to do it. And just happy for them to do it, because it's a very selfish world, and there's only one football out there, and these guys have to buy into the role. And we've told them if they can buy into that role, that there's going to be enough to go around for everybody, and there has been so far.
Well put. Again, we're talking to head coach Stacy Carter. You're watching In the Huddle, Science Hill football. Tell your neighbors, tell your friends, spread the word. This is our maiden voyage. We're going to be here each week telling you all about this great football program that's really in the way up. Currently 5th in the state in 6A football. Coach, let's take that first highlight. Didn't take long. 9:51 to go in the first quarter, and set this touchdown pass up from Malik to Elijah Mathis.
Well, we had a 3rd and long situation, and we got into a lot of those situations in this game, and we're able to convert almost every one of these. And this was just a play action play. We had a trip trot formation, and we went play action and threw all vertical routes, and he was able to hit Elijah Mathis down the seam, and just a great throw and a great catch for a touchdown.
So got started early, 7-0. Obviously the point after for Science Hill. Right back, young man that can tote the mail. Justin Bedard gets our second touchdown from 3 yards out. They got set up with a Mathis interception.
It certainly did. And Elijah made a great play on that interception. And, over on the sidelines, our coaches, I think Coach Adams said, hey, I think the screen's going to be open. We had a guy coming hot off the backside, and we went and ran that screen, and it was open. And Malik set it up, and Justin made a great catch. And those our 2 linemen got out and really made some good blocks. You got Malcolm White on that side, and Kalen Jamison made some real good blocks to get us going on that.
You told us earlier in the week, and I ran into you, that you have really worked these kids hard going into this football game. This particular week, they really, with the heat and humidity, and you pushed them a little extra hard this week, and it showed.
Well, I think the big thing was mentally with our kids. It wasn't even so much physically. We challenged our kids. We've been playing very good offense, and we played good defense in spurts. Again, defense takes effort and takes team, and a lot of times, that's a hard thing in our society right now that we're fighting against. And the kids came out, and we challenged them. We challenged those guys up front like Quentin and Cameron Burris and Chase Silvers, and they delivered. They definitely did. And our linebackers, Bryson Tolley and Malik Stevens, had big nights, and then having Big Trey Sutton back didn't hurt anything either. So we really, really excited what those guys did. We challenged them, and they came through when they got challenged.
Last touchdown before the break. Again, we're talking to head coach Stacy Carter. You're watching In the Huddle here, Science Hill Football. We're so pleased to have you with us. And Coach, that last one, let's go back to Bedard again. This time a 5-yard run. Set that play up.
It was just a power play. From 5 yards, and I think it was just a power right. And, again, he is a big, strong, physical runner. And something we needed, something we didn't know we had going into – knew we had a good, strong, physical quarterback, but he's been able to fill that role as running back, and that big, strong running back. Has quick feet also, and just made a great run and for our second score, I believe.
Bull Bedard, maybe his nickname. This guy can tote the mill. He is hard to bring down. We'll take a break, come right back. We got more highlights to show you, including to show you the athleticism of Malik Magoo. He was in trouble, pinned in, and he made a heck of a bomb pass to Marcus Patton. We'll have that and more coming up after this break. We're in the huddle with head coach Stacy Carter as you're watching Science Hill Football. Welcome back into the huddle, talking Science Hill Football. I'm your host, Tom Taylor, with head coach Stacy Carter, who, by the way, is 3-0 coming out of the gate. He's now 98-29 in career as a head coach, so a couple of wins away from that. For a lot of folks, that coveted 100-win season, or 100-win career, I should say. So we're hoping that comes very soon. Maybe Friday night when the Siegel Stars come to town. We'll talk more about that in just a moment. Coach, let's go back to the highlights. We talked about Malik Magoo before the break. His next highlight was the 89-yard touchdown pass to Marcus Patton. Again, showed the athleticism of Malik Magoo, doing a little dancing, reversing, kind of set this highlight up for us.
Well, it was just an unbelievable play, and he's made those time and time again. It's something as a coach, you need a guy that can get you out of bad plays. There's always a bad play call, or the defense guesses right and puts you in a bad situation, and that's what happened. And he made one of those unbelievable plays. Sometimes it gives you a heart attack when you're over on the sideline. I think he reverse field about three or four times and actually went back into the end zone, and you thought, hey, if they slips right here, it's a safety, and was able to find the guys. The receivers do a great job. They know the route and the script that where they're supposed to be, but as soon as that breaks down, they know they just have to go over the field and get open like a scramble drill. And Marcus does a great job on that, and he got open, and Malik was able to find him. And then when you get him spread out like that, it really helps us make big plays. And Marcus can flat out run, and got him out in space. He's done that a couple times. Did that against Elizabeth, and also I think Marcus did the same thing when Justin threw him one. It was kind of a busted play like that. He found him, and Marcus really has some great speed to get it in the end zone, and he did just a super play.
One of those, no, Yes, yes, yes. That's a good thing, right?
That's what it was. I mean, it's there's a lot of those with Malik. He'll take you there, and like I say, almost give you a heart attack. And sometimes you're thinking, "Hey, what are we doing right here?" And then the next thing you know, you're in the end zone, and it's happened more than once. It's not a luck thing because it continues to happen, and it seems like you at least get one of those a game with him.
Champions do that time in and time out. Going into the next highlight, I mean, here it is, Elijah Mathis, 4th and 5. Again, Malik and the Hilltopper defense has been stopped, not many stops in the first half by Morristown West, but this time it was a stop on a 4th and 5. And once again, Malik does his magic and finds Mathis in the end zone for a touchdown.
Well, we put ourselves in a bad situation on a couple penalties and then had a couple bad plays. And it moved us back. We had a 4th and 5. Probably we were in field goal range, but we decided to go for it and ran a play that we had run before and saw a guy open, and Malik was able to see a guy wide open in our trips formation. He rolled to his right and hit Elijah in a corner of the end zone, just wide open, and just a great play by him and a great play by Elijah.
You quarterbacked yourself. How do you teach a kid some kids will lock in on one receiver, he's not open, boom, he takes off running or does something different. How do you teach a kid, or is it just God-given where he can kind of scan the field and kind of pick up other receivers if his initial receiver is covered up?
Well, I mean, he has progressions. On that play, he had progressions. And now on the one to Marcus Patton, that was just a backyard football play where he was able to find him in just natural God-given ability. But, he went from his progressions and was able to find him on that level and wide open. Just a great read by Malik.
You're watching Science Hill Football. It's in the huddle with head coach Stacy Carter. I'm your host, Tom Taylor. Again, we thank you for being with us. And let's set up. He passed it through the night, but he also had a couple of touchdowns runs. Here's one of those. Set this up. Malik took one in from 2 yards out.
Well, it wasn't a great football play call by me. It really wasn't. We ran just a quarterback power down on the end zone, tried to block everybody down. They brought about 9 in the box up there, and but again, Malik made a heck of a play, made a couple people miss. Wasn't designed to go in that play, but again, just athleticism, and made a play and got in the end zone.
All this scoring comes in the first half. The last touchdown comes in the second half. A 16-yard run by Malik. Once again, he did things on his own. Tell us about that play.
16-yard run. Again, our offensive line is blocking great. I don't want to think this is just a one-man show, but on this, we had a bad snap. We've lost Dylan Miles and is a snapper, which has hurt us. We really came in and did well since he's been gone, but we had a couple bad snaps. That snap got on the ground. He was able to pick it up and somehow made something out of nothing and was able to get in the end zone. One of those plays again that you say, this is a bad thing, and it ends up being a touchdown. Just a tremendous athletic play.
We're talking to head coach Stacy Carter. So the final score, 48-0. So when we come back, we talk a lot about the offense, but when we come back, let's showcase the defense. Morristown West, a very high-powered football team that we shut out last Friday night. Threw them a goose egg, 48-0. We'll come back and talk about the defensive side of Science Hill football team, and also look ahead to got some rough waters coming. Got some very challenging teams coming in our schedule. We'll be ready for them. We'll come right back with more as you're watching In the Huddle with head coach Stacy Carter. You're watching Science Hill Football. Welcome back to In the Huddle, head coach Stacy Carter. You're watching Science Hill Football. I'm your host, Tom Taylor. And as we said going into the break, we beat a very good football team, 48-0. We talked all about the offense, deservedly so. But, hey, when you come out with a goose egg against a football team like Morristown West, their outstanding running back, DeAndre Delaney, he got his yards, coach. But, hey, a shutout's a shutout. And I know you're very proud of your defensive side of your football team for as I said, throwing a goose egg against Morristown West.
We're very proud of those guys. It's something that, we've seen glimpses of these guys just playing great, and we challenged them this week, and they just came through. I mean, the defensive line came through, the linebackers came through, the secondary played outstanding. I know Coach Nelson is happy with these guys, and we just got to continue to play that well. If we're going to be a championship football team, I mean, it all starts with the defense. It don't matter how explosive you are on offense and how many points you're scoring. The weather gets cold, things change. Some days you're just off on offense because defense defense really wins the championships. There's no lie about that. I mean, people come out to, watch offense and watch people score points, but, if you're not stopping them and that defense is not playing, you're not going to be a very good football team. So we really think we made big strides this week, and hopefully we can continue to do that.
Team concept, but you had some kids, some individuals stepped up big Friday night. Tell us who you, going back looking at the film, are very proud of individually for the Science Hill defense.
Well, I think Quentin Alabocas just stepped up big for us, and something that we knew he had in him, and we've seen glimpses of it, but he really dominated and from the first play on, and really helped Cameron Burst, our nose man, and Chase Silvers up front. Those guys played a special football game, and it all started up there. And something that we wanted to see happen, and they did. Bryson Tolley, my young sophomore linebacker, had just a phenomenal game, and something we wanted to see. He was really disappointed in his Crockett performance, and to see him come out there and play so well was just great. Malik Stevens, which we named our defensive captain, just a great kid, had another good game. Trey Sutton, he came in, and glad to have him back. I think he's getting a little bit healthier each game, and I think he had an outstanding game also. And then not to mention as well as our secondary played. Outside linebackers, Brett Marcus, again, didn't play his best football against Crockett and came out and played lights out in that game, and something we really needed. And Zach Canada continued to play as well in the other outside linebacker.
You've seen three good running backs so far. I know Crockett, TK Hill's an outstanding running back. Thomas Elizabethan went over the 5,000-yard mark. I mean, this guy may be one of the best all-time in Northeast Tennessee. And now this week you saw Delaney. So you've had a chance to defend some pretty good individual running backs so far this season. And for the most part, you've held them in check.
Well, I mean, we, like I say, he got his yards, but he ran the ball, I mean, just a lot of times. I don't even know how many carries. It seemed like 40 for sure. But he seemed like he was in there for 4 quarters running the ball, and we did a great job on Delaney. On the other two running backs, we don't feel like we did as good a job. Felt like we stopped them early, and then we got ahead and kind of left their intensity. But that's kind of what we were challenging the kids. And the kids brought it all 4 quarters this game, and that's something we wanted out of them. And it was good to see them flip that switch and play, and that's what we needed them to do.
We talked earlier in the telecast about the fact that you're home. You've got the band. I don't know how many kids are in the band, but you got your football team. How many guys are on the football team this year?
I'll have around 80.
80. The band's probably well up over probably over 100. You got cheerleaders. So on a Friday night in Johnson City, you got, let's say, 250 kids. That's probably lowballing it. Student athletes involved in and around the ball game. That's really good to see because to keep these kids off the street, get them involved in things, whether it's a band, the cheerleading, or football. So, and then have the student body here, and then of course the parent base, the fans out here. I mean, it was a great night. Weather-wise, great night for football. And again, Johnson City is responding to Science Hill, and they're coming out in big numbers, aren't they?
Coming out in big numbers. Great to see those kids out here. And a lot, high school athletics is part of the educational process, and a lot of times we don't push that enough. But it's a positive thing for a whole community. It keeps people out of trouble. It really does. All those extracurricular activities that you just talked about, and it's a need. I think a lot of times we just talk about the academics, but when we're talking about education is definitely athletics. It's the band. It's all our programs we have. It's essential, and if we did not have that in our high school programs, it would be a sad place to be. And just to be honest, a lot of kids would be getting in trouble, and it wouldn't be a good place to work, and it wouldn't be a good place to be. So that's how important that is to our educational process.
Preach it. Preach it, Reverend Carter, but he's exactly right. As we go to the break, let's run back and recap what we've had so far this season. Elizabethan, we won there 56-34. We go to Crockett, beat them, turned them back 63-27. Then last Friday night, as we've talked about, defeated Morristown West here in Johnson City, Kermit-Tipton Stadium, 48-0. Science Hill has scored 167 points. They're averaging 56 points a game. Their opponents have scored 61. We've held them to 20 points a game. All that coming up next. We'll see a team coming out of Middle Tennessee. They're 0-4, but don't let that fool you. It's a very, very good football team. Coach Carter and I will talk about them coming back. You're in the huddle with head coach Stacy Carter. You're watching Science Hill Football. Welcome back to In the Huddle with head coach Stacy Carter. I'm your host, Tom Taylor. Coach Carter, 98-29, trying to get number 99 this week. That's the goal, but a team coming to town, the Siegel Stars. Now, last year, we go down there, it's 64-38 as the score blew out the light bulbs in the scoreboard down in Middle Tennessee. They outgained Science Hill 583-501. It was a shootout. Needless to say, that same team is coming this way. They're 0-4, but that record's a little deceiving, Coach. They're better than that record indicates this year. Tell me about it.
Oh, they're a lot better, and they play probably the toughest schedule in the state. They play Oakland, they play Blackman, they play Ottawa, they play us, and they play a great McCallie team. Last week. So very talented, high explosive offense. Last year, it seems like they're a little down in production as far as offense as they were last year. I mean, I think they were averaging last year like 40 points a game, and then they still had lost 3 games last year. So that's the kind of team we're facing. Very high explosive team, very good up front on both sides of the ball, and they're chomping the bit for a win also. Absolutely.
Let's recap what they've done. They lost in the opening game to Riverdale 21-0. They lost to Ottawa, a close one, 24-20. Then he played McCallie, got beat 49-27. Last week they lose to Murfreesboro, Oakland 45-14. So they come to town again 0-4, but as Coach said, certainly a team you can't take lightly. They're wanting a W. They're coming up here. We're ranked in the state. Good time for them to turn their program around and coming on the road for about 4 or 5 hours on the bus and knocking off the Hilltoppers on the home field. So we got to be ready.
We definitely have to be ready, and I think this is a very important game. It's a very important game for our area. We need to beat those teams. We need to beat those teams of West Tennessee. Frankly, we don't get a whole lot of respect from those guys, and it's warranted too because we haven't done very well in the playoffs for those guys. And this is talking about us and Kingsport, and we just want to get down and beat those teams. And I'm really pulling for this area right now to come and do something special in East Tennessee and beat those teams down there. I know we have Siegel and Brentwood Academy. I think Dobbins Bennett's getting ready to play Ottawa and have already beat East Hamilton. So I think it's big strides in both programs around here, both the 6A programs, and something we need to get off our plate to go on down and get a little bit of respect in these football programs in East Tennessee.
You're exactly right. Respect is what we need, particularly in other parts of the state. We always look good up here. When we go down there, we don't always come back with wins, and we want to get a win Friday night when they come our way. Last year, Malik went 22 for, 22 rushes, 153 yards, passed for 210 yards, 3 touchdowns. So once again, whether it's Siegel or whether it's Crockett, whether it's Elizabeth, it matters not. Malik came with his game face, and he produced again last year against Siegel.
He definitely produced. Hopefully we can get this a little bit more on script. This year, last year, a lot of busted plays, a lot of plays. We're talking about the scrambles and making plays. Hopefully we'll be able to, you can't win a whole lot of games like that. You really can't that's what you're counting on. But hopefully we can move the ball a little bit better. I think we're a better offense this year than we were last year, and I think our defense is actually a lot better. So I really think that we'll match up better. Still, it'll be a hard-fought game no matter what.
Let me ask you about Malik Magoo. Back when you coached at Solomon South, you coached a guy by the name of Kurt Phillips, an outstanding quarterback, a warrior, a champion, went on to University of Wisconsin, played for the Badgers. Malik Magoo, obviously a warrior, a champion. 2 great quarterbacks, just who they are, but 2 totally different styles quarterback, or there are similarities?
Well, they're both winners. That's probably the big thing. They know how to get it done, and they come through. And every time that Kurt Phillips was there, you didn't have to worry about Kurt Phillips. He was going to come through. Malik Magoo's the same way. When he comes out, you're going to get a great game for him every time he comes out. 2 of the best players I've ever coached. I mean, that is 2 of the most talented, smartest football players, different styles. Kurt was fast, could run around you, could run over you. Malik was a little smaller, very elusive, quick, and fast too. Kurt was the big, we said pocket passer, but he ran more than about anybody ever around here, I guess. But and then Malik sprints out and does some more things. But both of them are winners, and both of them are great football players.
Coach, again, the keys this Friday night. Siegel comes to town, as we said a few minutes ago. They're 0-4. What's it going to take for the Hilltoppers to knock them off and get ready to head out on the road next week?
Well, I think we got to jump on these guys early. I mean, they're 0-4, so they're traveling a long way. If we can get on these guys early and put some doubt in their mind, I think it can help us. I think the longer we let them hang around, the worse it could get for us. So I definitely think we need to jump on them and hopefully get out to a good start like we have been able to the last 3 games.
So you jump in the vehicle and go to Nashville, down where they're from, and get out of the vehicle after 5 hours. Your leg weary, kind of. Maybe not drowsy, but just kind of going in half motion. So they've got to do that coming this way. So hopefully we can jump on them early, catch them coming off the bus, and get them and get ready for another game next week. We'll touch on it real quick. We go to Brentwood Academy, then we come back home to Tennessee High. So we got 3 great quality opponents in a row.
We do, and like we had talked earlier, I think we're running the gauntlet right now to some tough teams. You just pray for, health for our kids, for them to stay healthy through this run, and also to get wins. And we're playing some, quality opponents, and that's what you want to do, and that's how you get better, and we're definitely going to get our opportunity to get better.
Good luck to you. See you next week.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Yep, give me some taters. Head coach Stacy Carter, again, appreciate him very, very much. Again, we'll join you next week, talk about Siegel, and get you ready for Brentwood Academy. And then looming on the horizon, another conference game against Tennessee High. So, again, thank you for watching the Maiden Voyage of In the Huddle with head coach Stacy Carter. I'm your host, Tom Taylor. And as always, want to tell you as we close, something I was told since I was a little boy, and I want to pass on to you. Win or lose, be a good sport. We'll see you next week. And thanks for watching In the Huddle with head coach Stacy Carter as you're watching Science Hill Football.